These are major changes to the gear upgrade system improvements for Dragonflight Season 3. And it's all quality of life changes. It's really good stuff. So we'll be increasing the length of the heroic and mythic tracks. Fractions of Time retroactively added myth upgrading track to earn above hero track, allowing players to upgrade their gear from myth level 1. Yeah, we know all this. But they're pushing it forward. PvP gear will be put into the gear upgrade system as well, so that's good to see. Good to see PvP gear always getting love. You know, even though I don't PvP, I don't hate on those people. No more extra inventory space used, so we already know this. The crests themselves will be dropping from now on. No more of those, you know, the fragments and combining them to create the crests. You're just going to get the crests and that's it. And the crests will be capped as well to 90 crests per week of each type. So you can go grind out the other types if you want, but you will be capped at 90. And another thing about that cap is some people were saying, okay, what if I hit 90? What do I get as loot then? Well, you'll actually get the crest below the one that you're supposed to get. So if you're on a myth track crest, if you're doing some mythic plus 16, you're supposed to get myth crests, you'll actually get the heroic ones, and those heroic ones can later be used to become myth ones. So the cap is there, but if you really want to degenerate your life away and just completely grind that shit out, you can still do it. You'll just get the lower level ones that you can upgrade later. Trade-ups, one of the most common requests in the system was the ability to trade up, which is what I was just talking about. So what is like the equivalence, right? If you get heroic level ones, what do they become? How many do you need to make myth ones? Well, 90 crests from the lower one can become 15 of the higher one, right? So if you're totally grinding out like an insane person, you can get 90 of the myth crests plus 15 more of the myth crests. So you could technically get 105 of them, because you could get 90 myth crests and then get 90 of the heroic ones and then upgrade those 90 heroic ones to 15 more myth ones. So realistically, like for the, you know, world first pushes and everything, you can get 105. Oh my god, 105. That's complete, you know, grindiness. Yeah, grind that shit out. Crest fallback, like that's what I was just talking about, where if you have the crests already, you've capped them out at 90, you'll get the ones lower, one level below. And then 39 item levels. So last season had a 26 item level gap between, you know, what you got and then how far you could push it up in terms of like year progression. There's going to be 39 item levels for season 2. Now that's one of the biggest item level jumps we've seen, and they said they're doing it because of the upgrade system and because of what the crests have done in the game. It's just going to, you know, prolong the upgrade system and allow people to push higher into the into their eye levels and create a longer upgrade system, basically. So we have the Whelpling crest, yeah, Drake, Worms, and then the Aspect Dream crest. And again, you can upgrade these. And by the way, there is a limitation to the upgrading. You can only start upgrading your crests once you have capped out on the item level of everything in that crest like level. Right? So you have to have like everything 441 item level maxed out in terms of heroic crests to start to upgrade your crest to Aspect Dream crests. So, I mean, at this point, a lot of us would be doing that. I would be at that point where I can really only upgrade mythically. I've already surpassed heroic item level and everything. So upgrading the crests would be a nice thing for me. But this upgrade system, this crest system in general is great. It's something I think that's been good for the game, and I hope they continue to iterate on it going forward here into the next expansion, which we'll be hearing about next weekend. Yeah, this weekend, wow, October 23rd, we've seen, you know, a couple of these things already. Yes, we got the Universal Upgrade System improvements, what we just talked about, PvP Brawl, Classic Ashran, Arena Skirmish events, Turbulent Timeways, and then 2 new promotions. What these promotions are, we're not really sure yet. Could be the announcement of the next Amazon Prime promotion or something else. The last time I saw one of these, I got really hyped, and it turned out to be an Arcane, you know, crossover event with World of Warcraft. So these things, you know, promotion, could be pretty much anything at this point. October 25th, you're going to see Blood Elf enhancements and new Druid customizations. They're going to talk about that. Get ready for Battleground Blitz and a few other things. Nothing really crazy. More about the Emerald Dream Zone. We're going to hear about that on October 26th. Guardians of the Dream will go live November 7th. We already know that. And some blue news on October 27th. Okay, this one's interesting. Blizzard teased some BlizzCon decor. Could it be a possible expansion leak? Now, obviously, you know, this was approved to be leaked. This is not some kind of like insider information. This was officially tweeted out by Blizzard's account. But let's take a look here. So the first picture shows these rings. And honestly, when I first looked at this stuff, I was like, okay, this looks like Dragonflight stuff. I don't know if this is about the next expansion, but I was really focusing here. Try to pull anything out that I could. Because why? Because I'm a content creator. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to create content out of a fucking ring. But what is this? It really looks like dragon language to me. Now, I really was looking right here, and I was like, oh, could this be like some kind of bull charging forward, or maybe a ram head, like pushing forward this way? I was thinking like this looked like an animal right here. But in all honesty, I'm probably wrong, and really what this stuff looks like, if you look hard enough at it, it looks like just more dragon flight themed stuff. They have this close-up of these pillars here, and somebody wisely pointed out that it looks like the ones sitting here in front of the temporal conflux. We see all the blue glow lights up the cracks in the pillar here, and it really does. You see that's what the look they're going for. They're going for that blue glow upwards. So yeah, it's I think that we're obviously going to talk about 10.2, you know, at this. The 10.2 is launching the week after, so there's going to be Dragonflight stuff to talk about. We see the rings that we saw earlier in the picture back here as well. So there is probably going to be some Dragonflight theming, but why are they picking the temporal conflux in specific? I really hope we're not going to do some time traveling shit. I'm really hoping that's not what they're hinting at. Here we see the last picture. Again, this looks like, you know, more Dragonflight architecture. This looks like something you would see in Valdrakken. The most interesting part about this picture, here's a bigger, like, zoomed out picture of the pillars in the background here. But I think the most interesting part about this picture is not this Dragonflight stuff. It's this rocky shit right here. I think Blizzard, this is of all the pictures, I really feel like this is the one that's teasing something, if anything. Those are pirate pillars, yeah. I think it's the rocks right here. And we've talked about, you know, this being a dwarf expansion, maybe, or, you know, having to do with bugs and underground shit and everything. And these rocks right here, I feel like could be hinting at something for the next expansion. Now, there's nothing special about them. There's nothing I can glean from them. Trust me, I've analyzed the shit out of these rocks. There's nothing in them. But I feel like they could be off image here, holding up something. Maybe a hammer. Who knows? Maybe it's Thrall standing on them. I don't know. Maybe a dwarf, for all we know, a griffin. But I feel like of all the pictures here, this one has to hint at something more than the rest of them. Again, the rest of this is just more... By the way they made this orb float here looks really cool. But these pillars, this arch, the more zoomed in photo of the rings right here, it all looks like Dragonflight architecture to me. Specifically, Bronze Dragonflight architecture. And again, my hope is that I really hope we're not just doing some time travel bullshit. Now, who knows if that's Galakrond's plan to go back in time and fuck with the Titans or something. We'll find out soon. But I prefer, I don't care much for multiversal things in the expansion or time travel stuff in the expansion. I like to be as grounded as we can be for a fantasy world, if that makes any sense. I prefer, okay, there's magic, but it should be limited. I prefer sword and shield, shit like that. Yes, there are elves. We don't need to get too crazy. There are dwarves. I like a fantasy world, again, that's somewhat grounded in our world, in our reality, because it makes it more relatable. It makes the deaths in the game more final. When we get into multiversal shit and time travel shit too much, I feel like it kind of ruins any of the storyline, because it could all be retroactively changed, right? So that's why I feel keep this shit out. Keep this shit out. But to me, if I had to guess right now, all of this is saying Bronze Dragonflight stuff, except the rocks, man. Mark my words. We're going to look back at these rocks and wonder what the hell this meant, and then he'd be like, Samiccus pointed it out. Samiccus knew what it meant. Moving on, last thing here. We have our week 24. My God, it's been 24 weeks now of this season. 24th week of Season 2. Here are the DPS charts. Let's check them out. Unholy Death Knight, Augmentation Evoker, Frost DK. You guys, there's been just some orgy of these 4 up here, followed by Frost Mage for quite a while now. Demo Warlock used to be up here. They've fallen off slightly. We see a lot of the same players. Not much movement from anybody. Balanced Druid near the bottom. But Druids are about to get a lot of love. Same with Rogues. We see the Rogue specs all kind of sitting down here. They're about to get a complete rework, and it's going to look much better for them. This is the single target DPS, which matters more for rating. Unholy, still the big dog on top. Augmentation Evoker following them up as well. And Demo Warlock takes the key here. Frost and Affliction. Again, Assassination Rogue looks pretty good right now, but from what I've seen and heard, Rogues are going to be in a really good spot. I've seen like some DPS charts looking forward, and it's looking really good for them. So, checking out what's going to go forward. Fury Warrior, I don't know if they're going to get any love. Let's see who the biggest movers were here. Shadow Priest, up 3 spots. That's really it. Down 4 for Balanced Druid. But mostly everybody stayed stable. There weren't really any changes, major changes going forward. The major changes are going to come in the patch. So we'll see where Rogues and everybody else stand once all the new, balancing and everything happens. Plus the new tier set bonuses and everything else is going to hit. And the new Farak weapon, which will change things up for Warriors, DKs, and Paladins.